Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Holly Pasquinelli, Director of Marketing and Guest Experience here at Conner Prairie. We are honored that you chose to spend your morning with us, and it looks like the sun might be coming out. So we'll see where we are at the end of this meeting. We're going to start off. I would love to welcome Norman Burns, Conner Prairie President and CEO, to the stage.
Thank you, Holly. And we do thank you for being here and making the effort this morning. According to Jay Ricker, 146th Street was a four-way stop. And took and so there may be some other people that are going to be joining us just a little bit late, but we'll go ahead and get started with the meeting. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 2025 Conner Prairie Annual Meeting, highlighting the work of our organization this past year. It's always wonderful to see so many familiar and supportive faces in the audience. So thank you for being with us today as we reflect on the year behind us and look ahead to the future that we are all building together. This year's theme, Building Bridges, Honoring Journeys, Embracing Voices, is more than just a phrase. It speaks to the heart of who we are and where we're going as an organization. In 2024, Conner Prairie experienced a year of true transformation. We started 2024 by honoring our Conner Prairie journey with a full year of celebrating 50 years of Prairie Town through new programs and a remarkable documentary film. The documentary celebrated 50 years of living history interpretation and trade experiences in Prairie Town that have served multiple generations and millions of visitors. Last year, our journey further connected us to the land and river through the opening of a 2.5 miles of new trails at Conner Prairie, and in the process, we became Indiana's first and only certified therapy trail, and we hosted Indiana's first Black Birders Week, all because of that trail that opened. Together, we launched new programming, welcomed new audiences, and continued evolving how we tell stories in new places from Prairie Town to sites all across our property. For instance, our soft launch of Promised Land as Proving Ground marked a new pathway in our journey, a bridge and commitment to honoring 1,000 years of Black history by amplifying voices seldom heard at Conner Prairie and inviting our community to reflect, learn, and grow with us. We will hear and see more about Promised Land as Proving Ground later in this program. That's what I found. I'm glad you found that. My watch was talking to me. It must have found something about Promised Land as Proving Ground. Isn't technology wonderful? None of this progress, of course, would be possible without the continued partnership of you, everyone who's in the room today. We have board members, we have staff members, we have donors and volunteers, all made possible because of what you do to support this organization. So thank you for walking this path with us and forging new directions for Conner Prairie. To speak more about the leadership that helped guide these efforts and the strategic initiatives that we have built upon the past several years, I would like to welcome our board chair, Brian Temperman, to the podium. Brian?
Thank you, Norman. On behalf of the board of directors of the museum, I'd like to welcome everybody here this morning. I'd also like to give a special thanks to all of our staff, volunteers, donors, fellow board members. It's your contributions and support that's helped make Conner Prairie the success that we saw in 2024. As you know, the board is focused on helping Conner Prairie advance its strategic priorities and its strategic mission. There were a lot of great steps in 2024 towards advancing that. A few examples are the Museum Experience Center. So I was talking to some before. If you haven't seen it, make sure you drive by. Just go north. You'll swing by. You'll see the front. It's amazing what you see coming. You don't even see if you go around the back. You'll see a great exit onto the grounds where you'll actually get to see the grounds as you're walking out there. And the inside, I know we can't go in and see as much as we might like. You'll see some pictures that Norman and others will share, but it'll give us an opportunity to share new world-class exhibits for our patrons 365 days of the year. Rain, snow, sleet or hail, weather that's coming, lightning and rain, the cold of the winter. In the past, we had a small space that was great, but small. Now we're going to have an opportunity to really open up a lot of the treasures of Conner Prairie year-round, which is really exciting. Commitment to sustainability. Conner Prairie is committed to being a leader in sustainability and helping guests discover how they can make a difference. Examples of this in 2024, educational programming along the White River, hosting zero waste events. Our Heritage Breeds program, Connor Prairie aims to be mindful and impactful in all decisions that they make. These efforts will help us preserve the land and also one of our most precious resources, the White River, that with this great facility we can see right out the window here as well. Financial stewardship. Connor Prairie's done a great job in this area again in 2024. Kyle, I don't see Kyle. I know he's here. Kyle, his staff, our foundation board, our board have done a great job to continue to steward the assets of this museum. Connor Prairie has also continued to expand the engagement in the community. If you look through expanded partnerships, in 2024 alone, the museum it supported more than $500,000 in community access on free admission days, which personally I think is really exciting to hear. Helping to initiatives designed to break down barriers, welcome more people into this powerful place that we have here. Some specific new partnerships in 2024. The Little Red Door. This is an organization that makes the most of life and the least of cancer. They offer services for cancer patients and resources those in need. In 2024, Connor Prairie offered free admission and balloon passes to the Camp Little Red Door participants, which supports children with cancer and their families impacted by this disease. Shop for Kids, an organization bringing joy to children in Hamilton County during the holiday season. Through this partnership, Connor Prairie provided all families participating in their shopping extravaganza with free Connor Prairie memberships. Promised Land is a proving ground. You'll hear more about it, but the board is really proud of the soft launch or the early launch we had, and it's fully open. No, so you'll hear more, but for those that don't know, it's open, and I strongly recommend that you get out there. With the full opening, there's more additional programming like foodways interpretation, collaborative art innovations, programs for our schools. It's another great new experience for our patrons. And as I reflect back and look at some of these experiences, so I've had the pleasure of being part of the board for going on 8 years now. I had to look back and say, has it really been 8 years? That saying about time flying is really important. But it really, I'm proud as I get an opportunity to meet with neighbors, family, friends, colleagues, and talk about my little piece of being able to share a little bit about Connor Prairie. I've got neighbors in my neighborhood every year. They're like, all right, Brian, so camps are coming. We're going to be at our computer ready because our kids, if we miss the Connor Prairie camp, are really going to be disappointed. I think you see that we have set records every year with our camp. And it's not because we want to set a record. It's because we're providing a unique asset to those kids. I know my daughter has loved participating. One year she double dipped, got in a couple camps, and she's looking forward to it this year again to be a participant in that camp. The trails, you talked about the trails here. You can get out fully handicap accessible trail over 2 miles along the Oxbow, or if you want to get real, adventuresome, go on the Vista Trail, and you can walk and you can see ag fields, you can see forested areas, you can see River Plain and the White River in a way that is unique in Hamilton County, and I believe unique in the Midwest. So it's really exciting. And this is on top of so many things that we have, our festivals, our concerts, and that's all built on the foundation of the leading historical institution in the area. So really, there's a lot of great excitement with 2024 that we've built on. But as Norman said, we can't just look in the past and the present. Let's look into the future. So what are we excited about in the future? Museum Experience Center. If I haven't said it once, I think I've said it a couple times. We're excited to see the construction be complete, to bring in and install those world-class exhibits and give a chance for everyone to see, bring in rotating exhibits. So it's going to be very exciting. There's going to be an opportunity to engage. So everybody here, be ready. You may be asked to participate. If you aren't, put your hand up and say, I want to participate, because it's going to be exciting. Torn, a family portrait. Torn is an immersive experience that's going to explore the untold stories of the Lenape people, original inhabitants of this area. It'll give an opportunity to really share Conner Prairie's commitment to expanding its storytelling through authentic and diverse history, and then continued growth and outreach into 2025. We've talked about a number of things, Museum Experience Center. I see Andrew in the back. Him and his team are ready to bring experiences to more people in the area and the community. Uh, I'd like to really reinforce the importance of this museum's role as a cultural anchor, not only locally, but nationally and globally. Conner Prairie is recognized by the Smithsonian and other national institutions as one of the most important cultural assets in the country. We're expanding our impact in the community, both locally and globally, whether it's working with the Smithsonian and our Rare Heritage Breed program, preserving rare heritage breeds across the globe, or developing groundbreaking exhibits like Promised Land as a Proving Ground or Torn, a family portrait, that are shaping the national conversations around inclusive storytelling. So with that, Norman, I'd like to thank you from the board and myself on your leadership and your team and everything you've done to get us here. We're excited to see as we continue into the future. And I'd like to welcome Norman back to share a little more about Promised Land as a Proving Ground. Thank you.
Brian, thank you for those kind words, but I'm just a leader who's supported by people around me. So I'd like to ask all of my colleagues, all of my Conner Prairie colleagues, if you would stand so we can allow our board members and our volunteers and our donors to give you a round of applause, because they're the true champions of what we do at Conner Prairie each and every day. And I just so appreciate what our staff has done for generations now here at Conner Prairie. This is just the current generation of people that are so passionate about the work that we do. We also have board members in the audience. If you want to stand, you can. You can raise your hand. That way, we have donors. Later, they may say, "Oh, I want to go see that person." So let's give them a round of applause. And of course, many of our volunteers that are in the room and others that are with us today. So we want to thank you for that. So once again, thank you, Brian, and everyone that's here, and I especially want to thank the board because it's really through your passion and your leadership and dedication that we're making Conner Prairie a place that is open to a diversity of voices and limitless experiences. As Brian just shared, 2024 was a significant chapter in our continued evolution as a museum. Few milestones represented this better than the realization of one of the most ambitious and meaningful initiatives in our history. Promised Land is Proving Ground, our newest permanent exhibition area at Conner Prairie. We took an intentional step by launching Promised Land as Proving Ground with a soft opening, as Brian said, in 2024. That decision gave us the opportunity to listen to guests' reactions, gather feedback, learn and adjust the elements of the experience from this evaluation. And because of that process, today we're proudly celebrating a fully realized Promised Land is Proving Ground experiences that reflect not only Black history in Indiana, but the living stories and the voices of the communities that surround us. Promised Land is Proving Ground explores Black history from pre-colonial Africa through today, honoring the role of faith, family, food, and fellowship in the resilience and joy of Black communities. The 4 F's of faith, family, food, and fellowship are part of our shared cultural heritage, everyone, and it's something that's always been evident at Conner Prairie. What makes this PLPG experience so powerful is its presence across the site. From the Origins cabin to the Resistance cabin to the Reclamation building to the Reflection cabin, and through the interactive augmented reality experiences woven throughout Prairie Town. What a story that it tells. Promised Land is Proving Ground is not just something you visit. It's something you feel. You reflect on it, and then you carry it with you, and then you can express it to others in the community. And PLPG is not just about history. It is that space for reflection, dialogue, and connection. It is a symbol of how Conner Prairie is changing the way the world views and uses museums by reimagining what it means to tell inclusive, authentic stories that resonate across the generations and resonates across cultures. And this is only the beginning. In early 2026, we will open the new Museum Experience Center. Have you heard that we're going to be opening the new Museum Experience Center in 2026? Conner Prairie's most transformative expansion as of yet. Inside, guests will be invited to connect to our land, river, and history through new immersive and interactive experiences that further our commitment to honoring journeys, embracing voices, and connecting us to this place. For instance, the new Power of Place introductory experience will allow guests to hear the voice and story of the river and land prior to man's arrival. Because before man arrived, there was this place that we now know as Conner Prairie. In the center of the Museum Experience Center will be a large-scale interactive artscape called Wellspring that is a collaborative design between Wes Bruce and the Curious Life team, our own Conner Prairie creative team, and even our guests who have been working with Wes and our creative team to test ideas on the property. You may remember if you came for the eclipse, you remember that we had the camera obscura that's still up out there. That's an example of testing some ideas with guests. If you go to Bait Pavilion, I believe we still have some of Wes's ideas on Wellspring that you can go see that's in Bait Pavilion. So that's been part of that process of working on that. And yes, I did say artscape. So you may be saying, so Norman, what is an artscape? Well, imagine if you take artwork and a playscape and you overlap them and put them together with an artist understanding and an artist's eye to what this land and river is like and allow children to play. I'm sure that I could have Brandy come up here and she can talk for an hour and a half about the power of play at Conner Prairie because we have learned that and do that so well with this organization. Wellspring is a riparian project about place and presence around the banks of the White River in Conner Prairie. And I love Wes's play on place, PL and in parentheses Y, and then CE, so place. So putting play in the place is a big part of what Wes is going to be doing. One of the first Conner Prairie exhibitions planned for the new History Gallery space in the Museum Experience Center is Torn, a family portrait, as Brian has already alluded to. It's an immersive experience that explores the untold stories of the Lenape people, some of our region's original inhabitants, and their enduring connection to this land. It is an extension of the kinship and belonging work begun by Promised Land is Proving Ground, and that work will continue along our journey in the years to come. I now want to share with you just a glimpse of that journey that we've been on with Promised Land through a video. And it'll explain the community that we've built through this work and also show you the powerful momentum that we're carrying forward. So let's take a look at the video, Promised Land's Proving Ground. People who come to Conner Prairie want to see themselves here, and so we've got to tell a more inclusive story. And I think the uniqueness of Conner Prairie is that it's never been just static. We've been more than just a living history site.
Promised Land is Proving Ground really gives Conner Prairie a new way to tell stories. We are known for our storytelling. People come to us to hear our stories. We have a wonderful battery of programs that really connects different aspects of history and helps people understand today and maybe imagine the future differently.
Promised Land is Proving Ground is a story of Black perseverance, not just in Indiana, but in America as a whole.
It is a celebratory exhibit about the contributions and cultural retentions of African Americans, and it is all about being able to tell the full story of Black and brown people who have come to this country and have made their mark.
Promised Land is Proving Ground is a way for us to tell 1,000 years of history, pre-colonial all the way to the present.
It is going to be a place where these big, not so easy conversations can happen.
Promised Land is Proving Ground bookends Prairie Town. It's integrated into Prairie Town. We didn't want it to be a segregated experience.
This story weaves its way throughout all of these time periods that we discuss.
It fits because we've always been an Indiana history museum, and this is part of Indiana history. This is part of American history.
It is all of our collective history. So it's something that we felt was very important for anyone who was visiting Prairie Town to be able to encounter this in this space.
For people who've been coming to Prairie Town for years and like the way it is and have gotten used to the way it is, this is a very big change. And we're excited to see a generation of people and a generation of kids who grew up who don't know a Prairie Town without Promised Land as Proving Ground in it.
We've had programs in the past that really just dealt with a small part of it, and they were done for a limited amount of days throughout the year. So we knew that we needed to be fully inclusive and tell that story each and every day.
It's a consistent narrative that takes you on this journey and then leaves you at the end and kind of gives you a call to action that you're a part of this story too.
Because their story continues today, and you are a part of it.
And we're talking about things that are very complex and very personal. We're talking about journeys of manumission, freeing oneself, and discovering oneself and establishing something out of nothing and putting things in the ground and seeing what would grow, quite literally. Indiana was on paper a free state. The Northwest Territory was free, but it was not free in the way that you would expect. A place where we could test the American ideals. Liberty and justice for all, what does that mean?
Sites of Conscience is dedicated to the idea that we can build a more just future by using the tools of the past. A really key element of a lot of Sites of Conscience work is bringing past to present. In other words, history is not just what happened 200 years ago or 100 years ago. History continues to happen. And to understand that all of our actions today and in the future are influenced by that history. And we can learn from that.
This is beyond just the confines of this village, as it's affected every part of our institution, from board recruitment and staff training to HR practices to our building practices, all the way into how we're engaging guests in the stories that we're going to tell.
Promised Land as Proving Ground is really the first time that we have put in what would be considered a more traditional exhibit. It's the first time that we've put technology into the Prairie Town atmosphere.
With Promised Land as Proving Ground, we have actually done research, and we have 5 historic people that we're telling their stories. So that's new for Prairie Town.
I was born in Kentucky in 1855.
In Promised Land as Proving Ground, I will be playing Flora Tidrington. She is a midwife, and so you'll get to learn about her stories and her experience and what she was able to do in her community. And that's just one of, the many compelling stories that are a part of that exhibit, but also that are a part of Indiana history. We are talking about people that actually existed. There's a responsibility to, as closely as you can with the information that you have, embody this person, because we truly felt like for those that are interacting with the exhibit, they will be interacting with that person, that they do feel like they've met Benjamin Talbot, Bishop Quinn. So I'm looking forward to what becomes of that, and also just how it continues to change the fabric and the culture of Conner Prairie, hoping that more folks will feel not only compelled but welcome to come and to see and to learn.
Promised Land as Proving Ground is not just a static exhibit, it's dynamic, it's engaging. And the programming that we have in these buildings are also very engaging. We have hands-on invitations for making different crafts, different things that are connected to what it means to be human, what it means to be part of this tapestry of history here in central Indiana. But we also engage the senses through music, through poetry, through spoken word, through food and smell, and all these things just sort of envelop a person as they come and visit. One of the most noteworthy components of Promised Land as Proving Ground is a brand new structure. And when you go into the structure that looks nothing like 1836, you will see cases that allow us as staff to use artifacts to tell stories in a meaningful way.
This is part of the democratization of history, to make sure that these collections aren't just for the elite to see, but instead we make them accessible for everyone.
And these pieces that we can display, bear witness to the stories and also help connect people to those stories in a more meaningful way.
Having resident artists in the reclamation building, those are all things that we've never done before at Conner Prairie in that particular way. And to be able to lace those stories, if you will, integrate them throughout Prairie Town.
Basically, what I'm doing here with Conor Prairie as an artist in residency is I'm creating artwork that coincides with the exhibit and the building Promised Land as Proving Ground. For me, I'm more of an educator, and I like to be taken seriously as an artist and an educator. So I'm the first artist to do this, so I'm the guinea pig, but it's based on historical moments that occurred with Black Indiana. You're going to see a lot of variety in the work, some conceptual things as well. So what I wanted to do with the work that I'm producing for this is I wanted to create a reflection of what I'm seeing through some of the historical imagery that I've ran across and some of the stories that I've heard through taking in some of the content that will be utilized with Promised Land as Proving Ground.
The evolution of Prairie Town, in both its present form, but over the last 10 or 15 years, has been about the diversification of stories. Who are we talking about at Conor Prairie? Are we just talking about the First Peoples? Are we just talking about William Connor? Are we just talking about the Quaker religion? Or can we expand that out even further? And you can take the next step in that evolution and you can talk about meeting people where they are. So our commitment to accessibility, whether that's ramps getting into buildings, whether that's ASL interpreters, whether that's bringing people onto staff that reflect the guests that are coming through that might be visually impaired, to make sure that that history is represented, because there's nothing more powerful than seeing yourself in the past.
So the old Welcome Center, as we knew it, is transforming into the MEC, the Museum Experience Center. And that will have a wide range of new activities. There are going to be brand new exhibits done in a way that's really, really foreign to Conor Prairie. Multimedia, multi-sensory exhibits that help you engage the story of the people and the land and the river and all the things that ties together as humans in one spot. We are going to learn how we're related to each other, how we're kin with one another. If you visited us, you've been to the William Connor house. You might even have an idea of what William Connor looked like. We're going to take a look at the first wives of John and William Connor and why these Lenape women were not really featured in the public record. And we're going to tell that full story a little bit more, which will help us in the future when we're able to, well, renovate buildings like this that help us tell the Lenape story a little bit better.
As we do this and we do it right and we do it well, I think we'll see other museums that use living history and use museum theater and those types of things. They'll be looking to Conor Prairie and see how we accomplish this, and we'll be able to help our profession do it even better. And that's really exciting for this organization.
History grounds us all together. History helps us understand our past, and if we can understand our past, it helps us understand the present better. And if we can understand the present better, we can imagine a better future. That's what we hope to do at Conor Prairie. Everybody has a place in history. If we can see how we all belong in the same story, the same narrative, we can hope for a better present and plan a better future.
What a powerful reflection on our journey so far. As the video demonstrates, Promised Land as Proving Ground has set a new standard for how we engage our guests with empathy and with a commitment to telling fuller, more inclusive stories. It is more than an exhibit. It is a fulfillment of our promise that Conor Prairie will be a place where the doors are always open to a diversity of voices and limitless experiences. And we are. As we look to the future, we're proud to share that our next major chapter of inclusive storytelling will focus on this land's first people, the Lenape. The intent of PLPG and the Torn exhibit is to afford agency to the people who made the story and then tell the history with their voice and not ours. We're developing Torn, a family portrait, a new exhibit that will explore the Lenape experience through the themes of family, displacement, and connection to the land. This work will debut inside our new Museum Experience Center in early 2026 and marks a profound expansion of our storytelling, one grounded in authenticity, collaboration, and partnership with the new people. This project will go far beyond a traditional exhibition. It is a commitment to meaningful relationship building, to accurate history around a living people, and to elevating Lenape voices and how they tell their own story. Although he could not be with us today in person, we are honored to share a recorded message from Jeremy Johnson, Cultural Education Director for the Delaware Tribe of Indians. Jeremy is a passionate advocate for preserving and revitalizing Lenape culture and language. His voice has helped shape the foundation of the Torn exhibit, and we are deeply grateful for his partnership. Let's hear from Jeremy now.
Kurumosimo hutch, Delawense lepoyokum katatum, Yukwe ke haptun gata ke kaluwe, Ni Lenape Shanu Hakpeoli, Cultural Education Director Ni, Nile Lendam Elipaek, Wanishi. Hello, my name is Jeremy Johnson. I am the Cultural Education Director for the Delaware Tribe of Indians based in Bartlesville, Oklahoma. We are one Lenape nation out of 6 Lenape nations based in Canada and the United States. In my position as the Cultural Education Director, it is my duty and responsibility to provide classes, cultural teachings, trainings on Lenape culture and history for our community, but also for the communities at large. I help collaborate and consult on exhibits in museums. We maintain a museum of our own on our campus. We work with all kinds of institutions to make sure that Lenape history and culture are presented accurately and authentically. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. I come before you with deep appreciation of the work that Connor Prairie has done and continues to bring authentic and inclusive history to life. Today I want to talk to you about the importance of presenting the history, heritage, and continued presence of the Lenape, or Delaware tribe here in Indiana, specifically along the White River. Though we are no longer in community there, our stories remain embedded in this landscape. They deserve to be remembered, honored, and told accurately with our voices leading the way. Connor Prairie has already taken important steps over the years in that direction.
Good day. My name is Michael Pace.
I want to recognize the foundational work done by Mike Pace, a respected Lenape elder and educator. His presence and storytelling helped to bring to life a more honest and human portrayal of Lenape culture and history. That partnership laid critical groundwork for what we are building together today. The upcoming exhibit, Torn, is a bold and necessary project, one that not only tells the important story of our community's time at Connor Prairie, but highlights the story of Macungus. Hers is a story often overshadowed by the men in her life, but it is one that is essential to understanding Lenape culture, society, and the difficult decisions that our matriarchs had to make to ensure the survival of the Lenape ways of life and community. In conjunction with this exhibit, the new Lenape Kinship Experience, made possible through the Lenape Kinship Grant, and in collaboration with the Delaware Tribe of Indians, will revamp the current experience by expanding the story of our Lenape people's history, culture, and traditions. This new area will also address the fact that Lenape history did not end in Indiana, but continues today in the lives of Lenape people who are artists, language keepers, educators, and community leaders. This project is a vital opportunity to show that the Lenape are not relics of history, but a living people with a vibrant contemporary culture. Through these efforts, our Lenape perspectives are not only included, but centered. What we are doing at Connor Prairie is a model of ethical representation, restorative history, and community-driven storytelling. It is a chance to tell narratives that have long excluded or misrepresented Indigenous voice, and to inspire new generations with stories of perseverance and pride. Thank you for your vision and commitment to telling a more complete American story, one that acknowledges the complexity, the pain, and the beauty of our shared histories. We look forward to continuing this journey together. Wanishi.
Even though Jeremy could not be with us today, I want to thank him on behalf of Connor Prairie for making that videotape so he could share in his own words the work that they are doing with us. Wow, I think you would agree with me that those were such powerful, encouraging words to hear from Jeremy. And just as a reminder, he reminds us that the Lenape stories remain embedded in this landscape that we're talking about, the power of place, and that they deserve to be remembered, honored, and told accurately with their own voices leading the way. We look forward to continuing this journey together with Jeremy and others, and one that tells a more complete American story, and one that acknowledges the complexity, the pain, and the beauty of all of our shared histories. As we reflect on 2024, it is clear that this past year has been a journey of bold steps forward. Through Promised Land is Proving Ground, the continued expansion of our nature programming on the trails, and the powerful stories shared by our partners and others in the communities. We have strengthened our commitment to building bridges across cultures, across generations, and across experiences that shape who we all are. You have seen the impact of that work today, and we're just getting started. Looking ahead, we're preparing for one of the most significant cultural milestones of our time, the 250th anniversary of the United States. At Conner Prairie, we see this as an opportunity to help reframe the national narrative by lifting up voices of a new generation of leaders and from those who are often missing from the story. We are approaching the 250th by listening to and lifting up the voices of Gen Zers through our partnership with History Made by Us and civic season activities, and through our growing relationship with the Lenape people and their help with the exhibition Torn. We honor those stories by ensuring that they are a full part of our country's story too during the 250th. This relationship with Lenape ensures that their history and culture are presented accurately and authentically at Conner Prairie and are part of that American story. In 2025, you'll also see continued progress toward the opening of the Museum Experience Center, a space designed not only to tell history, but to invite people into it and be a destination open year-round. This is a history as it should be, inclusive, interactive, and transformative. To our board members, staff, volunteers, donors, community partners, and friends, thank you. You're the reason we're able to do this work. Your belief in our mission helps us dream bigger, reach farther, and serve more broadly. Your support helps us to build the bridges that connects the lessons of the past, that inform the present, and help us better understand how to plan for the future. So let's continue walking forward together over new bridges that embrace every voice, honors every journey, and shapes a future that reflects us all. Thank you all for listening so intently this morning. And now I'm going to ask Andrew and Kyle and Ryan, if he's here. I think Ryan's here. If you'd like to come up front. And this is an opportunity. If you have any questions about anything that you've seen today or heard today, we'd be happy to try to answer those questions. And then after the Q&A, if you don't want to ask a question this way, you can just come up and talk to us at the end of the program. Okay. So does anyone have a question? Holly's also got a mic in the back there that she can bring to you. Just raise your hand if you have a question. I have one right here. Wait a second, Karen.
Thanks. Karen Radcliffe, Hamilton County Tourism. So excited about this whole plan here. I see so many ways in which we can amplify that storytelling. So I'm really, really excited. I'm very interested in the Lenape stories that you're telling and wanted to find out, did you say that was going to be a permanent exhibit in the museum center? And will there also be things that are woven in throughout the grounds?
Yes, that's a very good question. We are actually putting in a semi-permanent exhibit in the museum center. So every several to 10 years, that's going to be changed. But the same themes that are going to be in Torn are actually going to be expressed outside in Conner Prairie on the grounds. We also received a grant from the Lilly Foundation that will help us retell the stories of the Lenape people, well, outside in Prairie Town and other places. That will be permanent. So the work that is happening now will remain.
So the Lenape area that people are so familiar with, that's going to be transitioning. And that's a big part of what we're doing with Jeremy and his group. But as I said, as Ryan said, those themes will be not only inside, but outside around the grounds. But there will be a new permanent presence. It'll be told differently in what you now know as Lenape Village. I know you're ready to get another cup of coffee and continue socializing. Any final question? If not, we're going to be up here. You have board members, you have staff, you have volunteers. Just enjoy the rest of your day. It looks like the sun is going to come out. Holly spoke that into existence earlier, so thank you, Holly, for that. So enjoy the rest of your day. Feel free to come up, mingle, and ask any questions that you feel free to do.